Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the HSBG Podcast. I'm your host, aka Collins. I'm here with my constant co-host, Shady Bunny. Shady, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Collins. Good to be here. Good to be here. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. I've been busy working on some stuff, but we do have a pretty interesting podcast here today. There's been a lot of changes since we last talked. Some old friends, some new faithfuls, and some also minion adjustments. But first thing, how have you been? How's your week? How's everything?
In
Your
terms of
week.
the game, I have been struggling a bit.
Okay.
Been doing okay-ish, but not great.
Mm.
It's a bit of a combination of factors with just not really being able to put enough time in and not feeling 100%, and then such a big change happening at the same time. However,
Right.
I've sorted some stuff out, so hopefully starting this week, I can dedicate myself a little bit more. I can do a little bit of study, and I'll catch up. So
Dedicate your heart.
yeah, honestly, it's way more fun if I can just pour more hours into it and
Right.
really,
Yeah.
like looking at someone's games, like going over like 5, 6 games. It takes a long time, right? It's hard to
It does,
slot that
yeah.
in here or there.
Yeah.
So hoping that for the next podcast, I can report a sudden surge in my understanding of the game and a same kind of surge in my MMR.
Yeah, I've been doing that for another game, and I definitely feel the feeling of pouring yourself into a game and fully learning. It reminds me of when I was playing or like learning for Storybook Brawl. I remember spending some time uh learning that game, and like I really like, oh, this is really cool. All the little things, intricacies. Every day you're learning something cool. That's definitely a really fun. Where sometimes when you really get good, you kind of forget that, like, oh, other games, there's so much to learn, so much to like improve on it and really review. So it's definitely fun to fully be present and fully focus on learning.
Yeah, the big difference is when you are learning a new game, there is such an insane amount of improvement that you can
Mm,
have. I
I see what
do,
you're saying. Yeah.
yeah, I do like that, right? That is a fun feeling, but I definitely also enjoy
The full
work.
refining.
Yeah, like getting that extra 0.5% here or there, which is quite difficult when you're at a high level to
Mm,
squeeze out a little bit of extra value. Now, given that there was such a big change
big
to the
change.
meta,
Yeah.
it's not exactly a new game, but it's much more different than other patches. So yeah, it is somewhat comparable, I'd say, on this patch. Obviously, yeah. Still, like I remember when we played some Eternal Return together. That was very
Yeah.
fun because
Okay.
not only is that a whole new game, that was a whole new genre for me.
Genre.
It's this like battle royale thing where I have to learn all kinds of extra things and tactics. So that was very fun to learn as well. Anyways,
That
yeah,
game
go
had
ahead.
no business being that hard. I know we're getting off topic.
No, it was super. It's fine. It's our podcast. We do whatever we want. All right, let me close my door. I'll say. I think about that game sometimes. Like, oh, that was fun, man. Like the 2 a.m. Collins co-ops, right? That was
Yeah,
good
that
shit.
was super fun for sure.
Anyways, yeah, let's.
We should get back on topic. There's
We
a whole
shall.
other scene slide where there's something to talk about.
We have stuff.
Lobby
Yeah.
Legends came this week, I believe. Yeah, so like
Last weekend, I
this week.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, last weekend. And yes, we have spoilers. We have the champion on screen. Mega Alex really dominating. What was your thoughts overall in the I guess the format and everything, and just like the plays? Were you surprised or anything like that? Anything
I
surprised you?
was definitely surprised at how dominant his performance was. Like that was without a doubt the most dominant performance we've seen in Lobby Legends
Yeah,
to date.
yeah,
So
yeah.
if you guys have not seen it, this one is definitely worth watching if you want to learn the meta.
So I actually think that makes sense when you think about it from a logistical standpoint. So before, right, we had Lobby Legends. They were every month, and you had to qualify in the previous month, right? So the all the people qualifying were very like in tune with the meta. This one was a 3-week grind. And right before the tournament started, we had this big change, right? We had buddies for most of the qualifying period, right? So
I'd say
the first
not
2 months.
most, right? Like buddies was not the whole meta, but I get what you're
Well,
going
for
at.
a lot of the qualifying period was buddies, and the
Yeah.
people that did well, that started, or like continued to grind, right, had a really good first month. So those are the players that were like exceptional in the buddy meta. Then things changed completely into this.
Sorry to interrupt you, but that's the thing. Like when the thing was released, right? The qualification period was opened. Buddies weren't part of the game. Like they threw in buddies to spice things up.
You're right.
It doesn't matter, right? Like your point stands. Your point is
We're like buddies is like a different meta, a game changing meta, right? So it goes from not buddies to buddies, and then not buddies again. Wow. Wait. There was no tournament with buddies at all, is what you're telling me.
No. I mean, buddies was not the full 3 months. I think it was
Right.
even less than 2 months, I believe. Maybe 2 months, right? Like somewhere between 2 months and a month.
Well, it still affected things for sure.
For sure. But I mean, like, your point being that the
qualifying meta is not what they were playing for or playing on, essentially.
No,
Yeah.
and that is something that we have seen in the past, but not this pronounced.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, okay. So you're right. Clarification, but what the point is, what I'm trying to say is that there is an opportunity for someone to not fully understand that this particular meta and still be playing in the finals, essentially. You're not saying they didn't practice or so, but there is someone who does practice will have such a large advantage in this, like just fully making sure they master this particular meta will have such a large advantage against people that were good in the last meta, were good in the buddy meta. Their skill set won't fully transition. Obviously, they're great players, so they'll still be able to do something. But the difference, as you can see, it can make sense to have such a dominating gap in skill. Like not necessarily like gap in skill, but like gap in performance from the winner and everyone else. If the winner did fully practice, fully understand a lot of things, and as you can see from the games themselves, this guy was really knowledgeable of what to do, what to take advantage of, was doing some strats that we hadn't seen before, right? And that's really rare to do something like, I've never seen someone just go on silence down 3, get everything, and then pop off super hard, right? So it made sense that it could be very one-sided from the scenario compared to others before where it's a month kind of qualification. Everyone who's participating is super comfortable with the metas that they've seen. So speech over.
No, it's good. It also makes me wonder if Alex had a practice group.
Very possible. Yeah, I mean, the Japanese community is really tight knit, and right, they do work together. So it would make sense that they had a lot of practice time to really master the meta in their own practice.
That's something that is really interesting because I think that's something we should explore, right? Let's say Beater qualifies again. We just take 7 killers and we just do lobbies.
Over and over,
7 killers in Beater and just like make it hard on them. Just play your heart out and you just force them. Like, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? When every lobby, everybody's out at a high level and they're out to kill you like they would in Lobby Legends. So
it's so different, right? Playing normals and then playing Lobby Legends, right? Like it's so different. Every time I participate, I'm like, wow, it's so different. I can't do it.
So strong. Oh my god, it's
they aren't dying, right? They're never they fall over.
There's like go ahead, please. Sorry.
You can always just like in normals, you can always just like expect, there's one guy, he's not doing well, he's probably gonna die. I can take advantage of that. Even if I'm weak, I'll fight the dead guy, then I'll pop off super hard. It never happens. Everyone's strong, no one's rolling over. You have to fight for every placement, and it's just a whole different experience.
And the ghosts are strong. You can absolutely get killed by a Lobby Legends ghost. Like the first player out can kill you. Like I've seen some really heartbreaking top 8s on a board that was really not bad, but the other player hit like a 40% or so to kill him, like it was high rolling.
And that's another thing. You almost never feel safe because you're like, oh, this board is good, right? But then you realize, oh wait, their board, they're good enough players that this board could just lose to them, right? Or they hit the pop up. So unless you're like absolutely disgusting, right, you
Yeah.
never feel safe. You're like, oh
Yeah,
no,
I've
this
only
guy.
had a couple boards in all my Lobby Legends qualifiers where I was like, okay, I'm good. Like,
Yeah.
I had this one game with Zarella where I put like double dark gaze early, and I was like, all right, I'm the danger here. Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, it's just Leroy's queens. If you're vulnerable to blaster, they probably have it. That kind of stuff, right? That's you.
They
Can't
also position well. Oh my god,
Yes.
that's
Yes, correct positioning. They play around your cleave. They soak your cleave with their Leroy and all that stuff. Like, if they have a way to beat your board, they'll most likely do it. Anyways, yeah, just interesting thought, right? We'll throw that out there for maybe the European and American communities, because I'm not sure if that happened this time around, if our representatives had a practice group. And, if we're not doing that, we're probably running behind the curve. So something to throw out there.
Yeah, it's something with like this 3 month format or the 3 month period, right? Like maybe people get stagnant, right? Maybe they're like super pumped in the first months and have practice. Because I did hear some talks about it, but as it goes on, right, it's a lot easier to like lose sight of like the goal.
Yeah, but
and
I
stuff.
think you'd only do it after you're locked in. Because you don't really know until the last month, right?
Yeah, but then
So-
the person who's locked in has to like be the captain and like start spearheading the initiative essentially. And I don't know if that's like something these
you mean it
Lobby
would take
Legends players
practice
will
time
do.
away from them because they'd have to.
No,
organize it.
no, like they would have to be like, hey guys, I qualified. Can you help me?
No, I think
can
what
we
I'm
set-"
saying is that we already have several discords with high level players in there.
Yeah,
So
do,
we can throw that out there, right? Like push EU
Are we?
slash-
Yeah, but are we the ones pushing? Like I come
Maybe
in
we
like,
are.
hey,
We'll see. Probably not you because you're not playing the game as often right now. But we'll see. Whatever. We don't have to get stuck on this point. I just thought it was interesting because just imagine if League of Legends pro teams would just play ladder to prepare. That'd be a joke, right? Like they won't scrim at all.
welcome to NA.
Yo, just ladder. That's all you did them dirty. Okay. Just play some ladder, and then your turn. Oof.
Don't get me started on that.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Well, so let's talk a little bit about what Alex did. Right? Why was the performance so dominant?
Right.
One word: mech. Right? No, it's like
Mechs were so strong in this tournament.
I think he dunked at the minimum 2 games, but I think it was 3 games. Did he dunk 3 games with mech or?
I think it was
And then
the
mech's-
full 3.
Yeah. So essentially, what we saw.
No. It was 2 games. The first 2 were mechs, and then the last 2 didn't have mechs in them.
Okay, so I know that, but he won 3, right? What did he win? The
He did
last
win
one?
3.
What did he win the last?
With he abused the beasts, right?
No. Sorry, I mean the last one that put him into his like he got put in the elimination thing, right? He got put in. what's
Right.
that
Oh,
called?
right. In
Yes.
3 games, you're right.
Yeah. So he did his 2 games, then 1 game apparently without mech, and then his last one was right. Like that one, I remember. That was great. That was perfect.
Yeah, he
You
played
saw-
AFK. He played down like Macaw with Murlocs and some Naga.
Right,
But it was like a scaling Naga thing to have like really big Nagas. I mean, really big Murlocs.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think it just shows good meta knowledge where I definitely wasn't pushing mech as hard, where you could really see in the games where the mechs were in, he was really just setting up for the scrap scraper and then start milking those magnetics.
That game he did that game he got 7th in. The game he was playing Nazoth with the top 3. That was the one where he was playing Nazoth, right?
Right, I remember the AFK game actually. I didn't know that well. Because okay, whatever.
Yeah, it was
So he played Nazoth, and that was Murlocs? Like where he played with like Leroy and Nazoth, or?
No, that one was like he blew things up with Kaboom.
Oh, Blaster. Not Blaster.
Not
Boombox.
Yeah, with
Boombox.
Boombox. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
okay, that's
Boombox, and then he had the Kangar, and then it would summon more, and then because of the N'Zoth, it would summon
Because
even
of the
more.
fish, it would go.
It was some toxic thing.
Yeah, because that's so insane. Because so what happens when you do Boombox N'Zoth is not only does your fish remember your Kangurs, so you get a second board full of boomboxes. Your fish remembers all those boomboxes that went off before. Yeah. So once that fish dies and your Baron is still alive, it's just it just blows up the board, and then you get a whole board of freaking boomboxes after that. Should anything still be left alive? So yeah, that's cool.
It was definitely one of the more toxic things I've seen.
Mech. Right? Like he put the lobby in check with mech, right? 3 mech wins. Yeah. And then so you can watch the games, of course. We're not going to go over them super in depth, but in the 2 first games, it was really just push for the scrap scraper, farm magnetics, then go really hard for the utility drone. Collins and I casted the games as well, so you could just hear me say, oh, he's pushing for Drakari, then he hits Drakari with the utility drone. Oh my god. And then all those magnetics go off. Drakari is on the board, they go off again, he gets large, and there's no way back. Then one game, like we just said, with N'Zoth and the boomboxes, and then the last one was the most notable one, I would say, where that felt like a pre-packaged strategy, right? That was like, okay, I know what to do. I got a Silas, Beasts are in, Quillbore are in. I'm going to stay on tier 3. I'm going to farm tickets. I'm going to use those tickets to discover the Jazzer, to discover Rylak, and I'm just going to sit there with Jazzer, Rylak. Rylak is going to die. It's going to give my Quillbore extra health. Farm. Did not get too greedy. I think at around like 40 health, he sold off his scaling and just went hard onto actual blood gem stuff. Did he end up with Bristleback? I'm not sure. He may have, right? But I mean, that doesn't matter too much at that point because all your gems now are essentially 40 times as efficient. That's generally pretty good. So, you're not supposed to get that many procs on your gems, and the only reason that's possible is because you got Rylak. So, yeah.
And Macaw, right, to set up. Yeah, it was so nutty.
It's unfair. Like, really, it's the reason why I still ask, like, why is Rylak in the game? Why do we need this? I get that it's fun for the person doing it, but Jesus, gems, like, a responsible way of ditching your scaling, you still get up to 40. So imagine if you keep it, you can, I've made a YouTube video where each one of my gems added over 200 attack. Why is that a thing?
Seems balanced.
I don't think that should be a thing. That seems a little ridiculous, huh? So yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, you can do some really, really nasty stuff with just increasing that over and over and over. Anyway, we don't have to get too much into that, but yeah, super, super dominant performance. Congratulations to Alex for sure.
Yeah, well done. Definitely. I liked his quote after he won. He was like, next time I'm going to be Giga Alex. I was just like, oh, wow, this guy. Mega Alex really evolving after this performance. But yeah, very solid performance from him, and definitely hope to see more of him. And
that must have been tons of XP winning Lobby Legends like that.
For sure it was, yeah.
All right, moving on.
Yeah, moving on.
Boom, Diablo is back.
What's your reaction to this? It's actually today, right? Today, it's only for 3 days, so from June 5th to June 7th, so that's right now. But what is your reaction to this?
Well, to me, it feels like that meme. Oh, honey, it's time for your yearly Diablo event. Yes, okay. Yes, honey.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's an event, right? So it's different. It's something to shake things up. For most people, that's not bad. It's short enough that it's probably not going to be like really frustrating.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that it's almost a general consensus that Diablo is probably the worst event that comes around. Yeah, I mean, if we have to rank things,
I guess you're comparing it to like Prize and Buddies and okay, sure.
Buddies,
sure. I mean, is that fair?
I mean, it's an event. I don't know. Whatever. Okay, let's not compare it to quests and buddies and stuff. But it's let's just say that there is at the very least mixed feelings about a Diablo event.
Okay, sure.
It is not a unanimous yay. It's, a lot of people don't like it, and the reason why is that Diablo just increases this. It makes the meta like really tempo heavy. It depends a little
really
bit.
aggressive.
It's going to depend a little bit on how they changed him, whether there's nerfs or buffs or this or that. But on Diablo's release, Diablo was actually so weak that the correct play was to never pick him. So you saw Diablo a few times in the first few hours, and then at High Mart, no one picked it. And when someone picked him, like, oh, you poor guy. So someone's going to go 8th. And then they buffed the crap out of him, and then suddenly he was really strong. So what happened? Diablo's mechanic is that every 4 turns, he fights everyone in the lobby. So everyone gets matched versus Diablo that turn. So Diablo will have one real fight for Diablo itself, and the 6 other fights are people fighting a clone of Diablo's board at the time. So a very, very natural thing to do is to power spike like crazy on that turn when you're Diablo. So the entire lobby gets to fight someone that power spiked. So the entire game really revolves around, okay, 2 more turns until the Diablo turn. That's going to be a tough fight. I need to power up. Couple that with the fact that Diablo's other power mechanic. Other mechanic is that you get prizes. Well, prizes is maybe not the spells. You get spells for how many people you defeat during your round. So usually on turn 4, Diablo's going to try really hard to be strong enough to get those cards. Now, it was 2 prizes per opponent. I'm not sure if that's still going to be the same.
2 prizes if Diablo stays on the board.
Right. Yeah, Diablo summons a thing during the fight, and if that thing survives, it's weird.
Another mechanic.
Yeah, but that's the mechanic that gives the prizes. So Diablo is already stronger during the battle because he gets an extra minion, right? So if you have 7 minions, it spawns as soon as one has died. So yeah, essentially it comes down to that Diablo is provided with the tools to power spike, because of course, what do? You hold all your cards until the 4th turn, right? And until the turn 8, and then on turn 8 you're like, unload all your cards to be strong.
I believe it actually spawned when 2 minions died. I don't know if that was like an issue or something that was intended, but
really no clue whether that's still correct. Anyways, it could also be 1 card now after a nerf. I'm not sure.
Sure.
But whatever. Doesn't matter. The whole mechanic is the same, right? Diablo has means to power spike every 4 turns, which means that every 4 turns you got to be ready. No leveling that turn, or unless you're really strong or Diablo's really struggling. So that's pretty much always a turn where you try to get as strong as you can be so you don't take 15. And if Diablo's having a good game, the game ends on turn 12.
No one else is having a good game,
Yeah, it ends on 12, always, because Diablo will triple kill or quadra kill whoever's left. If Diablo's having a really good game, it's so, unless you have a pool of health, right? If you had a really good start but not better than Diablo, you could just watch Diablo triple kill everyone else that's left. You're like, 2nd place, sweet. Okay, all I needed to do was have enough health to not die to Diablo.
I want to say that is really satisfying if you can beat a Diablo there and just kill everyone else.
Quadra kill. You can do that. You can eliminate technically 7 players at the same time, although that's like one of those highlights that's like, oh, that almost never happened. Well,
I think RDU did that, right, in the tournament.
But the thing is, with 7 players, they all have to be like damage cap or lower, right? It needs to be perfectly spread out. It's almost like you're in some MMO and you're like DPSing every mob to be like down to like 10%. And like, boom, kill them at the same time. So you're like, no, don't die yet. I need my what is that even called? You got hexa kill,
reset or something.
Whatever. Yeah, 7 kill. Either way, that's Diablo. It's coming back. It's today, so that's the 5th of June for anyone listening right now. And we're gonna try to upload this as fast as possible. But when you're listening to this, Diablo is already out. Yes, Collins is on it. He's on the ball. It's coming as soon as we can. Okay. Any last thoughts on Diablo?
I mean, I don't have a problem with it, right? Because it's 3 days. There's no way that's gonna be an issue long term. So generally, it's a nice event. We'll see how busted it is. I hope it's too strong so that people like play it and stuff like that. I don't want another situation where it's just like, here's a dead hero again. I just hope it's a fun event for the people while it's here.
All right, I did not disable my alert, so we got a sub alert in there. Just anyone.
That's fine. Whatever.
Yeah, it's just
Blame
for anyone
Shady.
now checking their tabs. Be like, what the hell was that? That was us. Okay. Okay, cool. Let's move on.
I don't hear any alerts.
No. It wasn't
No.
super loud, but it was just snuck in there.
That sounds good.
All right, we got patch notes, but then I need to grab this over here.
Yeah, so we're just like, there's a new patch-ish. Well, I mean, new
that
is-
blocks this, right? I'm just gonna let's disable this.
There's an old patch. I guess it's relatively new. We have some stuff. Definitely some old friends coming back. Really excited to see how that really changed the meta. There's a lot of new heroes, some nerfs, and we can definitely go through them.
All right. So the patch brings 2 new heroes. Well, 3 if we count Diablo, but Diablo's a mini patch at the side. The first new hero is Inge, the Iron Hymn. She's got 15 armor, and her hero power costs 0. So that's always interesting. Don't have to pay.
Always
for that.
like that personally. Like
Yes,
0
that's
armor here, 0
value.
cost powers that give you something. I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm
Yes.
gonna like the hero. So
Unless it's Drekthar.
what does he do? He doesn't do anything.
He's the avenge give attack, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
he doesn't do anything.
All right, so Inge's hero power is give a minion attack equal to your tavern tier, and it swaps the health next turn, which means that you get 1 attack on turn 1, you level on turn 2, 2 health on turn 2, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah.
So
I like it.
yes, this hero is performing quite well on HS Replay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The I have not had the most success with her, but I think that's also part of me not understanding the meta, because I feel like my starts are good. I can see that I have a position to do something, and then just a lack of knowledge to capitalize.
You probably need to be more aggressive with the hero in terms of
Believe
like.
me, you haven't seen my games. I'm plenty aggressive.
No, I haven't. Yeah.
I always try to be on. That's the part where I say that I'm doing well with, right? So I'm getting to tier 4 like a turn before everyone else, right? Because obviously you level fast and then you slap the buff on there. It's then that probably my lack of understanding of the meta isn't
like how
allowing
to
me
transition into a winning
Yes.
composition.
Yeah, because usually if you can get to tier 4 1 turn ahead of everyone else, you're not really dying. That usually puts you in a spot where you should be able to capitalize. I think that's probably what's happening with the players that are performing well with her. But yeah, that's part of the thing where I said I'll need to do some studying, right? See how other people are playing it. Where am I going wrong? What are they doing different? But yeah, so this is a hero that really incentivizes faster leveling, because not only do you get stronger than other people due to getting buffs for free, your buffs also get stronger as you level. So it does fall off hard in the late game.
Yeah, I mean, but that doesn't matter, right? Like,
yeah, by then the damage is done, right? By then you have leveled faster than other people. So yeah, that's essentially my take on her. I think it's quite strong. I just need to, be able to capitalize on the good position I procure with her after.
that's my agreement. It looks strong to me. I think it's gonna be very playable.
All right, excellent. Okay, well, we got Captain Hogger making a
This one is
return.
probably one of the weaker heroes released. Like, you can't put a minion as a hero power and just expect it to do well. Like, it doesn't even make sense. So.
Wait. Uther has a hero power. Every turn set a minion to 15/15.
Well, all right, tier 6, well, that one.
This one is tier 5, right? No.
This one's only tier. I'm so trolling.
My point is that you can probably make minions that are quite nasty as heroes, right? But whatever. How much would that cost even? Set a minion to 15/15. How much? What's like a fair? Oh god, yeah.
6 cost maybe.
It's gotta be fucking expensive. Yeah, I don't want turn 3 15/15. I want that to be impossible. So, anyways. There's some abuse.
No,
there,
turn
for
3
sure.
you can do it, right? Because well, if you have economy, right, then you could like sell 6 power hero power 15/15 start. That's too broken. So 7 cost. Wait, maybe.
With economy, you mean like a Selemental, sell the
Yeah,
Selemental,
yeah. Sell and then hero power for 6. Yeah, that's too broken, right? So 7 cost.
And then the next turn you hero power to shop, and then you buy the minion and level, right? That's 7 gold.
Yeah,
That works.
yeah. No,
What a curve. 2 15-15s in tier 3 on 7 gold.
yeah. So 7 costs. I think 7 costs. Maybe that would be
All
fine.
right. Yeah. Well, whatever. We're hypothetically making a new hero here for you, Blizzard, but don't take too many notes if you're listening.
Please, that sounds so broken.
We're not sure if that's gonna go somewhere. But anyways, yes, Hogger was a minion and now is a hero. So people say, well, what does he do? The same thing. So the problem is, what does one Hogger do? And the answer is not much. Like anytime Hogger was good, it was 2 Hoggers minimum because then pirates are free.
But the problem with 2 Hoggers, it was broken beyond belief, right? I don't know if that's fair justification.
Well, so are you now saying if the hero power would act as 2 Hoggers, or if you would have 2 Hoggers on your board? Because 2 Hoggers were not super broken, right? You just buy pirates for free. They don't make you money yet, right? When you have 2 of them.
I mean, but still, buying pirates for free is very strong, I would say, especially in this archetype.
So I'm gonna put a little bit of a caveat on that. 2 Hoggers are fine if you have looters and peggies, right? There are many moments where people had 2 Hoggers on their board, and you spend your turn buying and selling pirates, and then you're like, I did absolutely nothing this turn.
Well, I mean, if you don't have looters and peggies, then don't do that.
Well, that's the thing. You would, right? You would buy 2 Hoggers. That's what people did. Yeah, that's how you get up to more Hoggers.
Well, first get the looters and the peggies.
All right, but then the difference is once you added the Greta or once you had the Tony, both minions who aren't in the game anymore for a good reason, because the mechanic was kind of toxic. Funny enough, with Hogger, who's also no longer in the game, you would golden a Hogger, have a regular Hogger, and now all of a sudden, instead of pirates being free, they make you 1 gold. So that means that you can offset the cost of rolling, and then at that point, your turn
infinite money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Literally just play the whole turn until the timer ends. So yeah, that is just my feeling with Hogger, where it's very Patches-esque.
What is okay? Like I don't feel like we've talked about like what is our thoughts on the hero? Is it good?
I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good. I think it's one of those heroes. It's like,
but shady. I went to your YouTube and it said, "Oh, Hogger is broken."
Everything's broken on YouTube comments. Also, that was probably my editor. I probably would not have okayed on Hogger being broken. It's all right. Anyways,
you just lie on the
everything's
internet?
Broken
On YouTube.
I am really good about that. Where I really don't want unethical clickbait. I want clickbait to be they click on it and it's like, oh, it's true, right? So we'll have a look back at that. Either way, yeah. So I played Hogger and I hit Peggy and I was like, wee, So it's kind of like Patches. If you play Patches and you hit a bunch of pirates, it's pretty good. You don't hit pirates, it's absolute garbage. So that's very feast or famine. So it's just it's one of those situations where because players have had tons and tons of experience with Hogger, you can kind of see this coming where you're like, well, having 1 Hogger never really did anything for me. And yeah, that's kind of the issue where you're just making your good pirate games better and everything else is no hero power.
So not impressed. Doesn't really feel that good overall. Is our thoughts?
Yeah. Okay. I'm not super happy to take this. I'll essentially take it if I just don't like the others and I'll play the new hero. That's it.
Do you think it needs more? Like something needs to change? Like does it if it had more armor, would that be better? Or is it like if you buy 2 pirates gain 3 gold? Is that like too broken?
I think once you start fiddling with the
giving
economy,
more economy,
that's like once the economy is on the hero power, like we know that goes out of control really fast.
Okay.
We've had stuff like that in the past. Like Lich still does some really dumb shit with just having extra money. So
after you buy 3 pirates, gain 4 gold.
Yeah, I mean they can try messing around with it and see like, oh no, we broke it. Okay.
That sounds broken.
Like step back, like, oh no, it's broken again.
I don't like if you can set up the 3 gold at once. Like, oh, that seems really strong.
Yeah.
Like even if you after you buy 3 pirates, gain 3 gold seems actually better than after you buy a pirate, gain 1 gold. It's funny to me.
Yeah, so this is a fun comment in the live stream chat here.
Right.
Galley versus Hogger, it's a weaker version of Galley, which is entirely true, but that's also true for every other hero ever printed because they're all weaker versions of Galley, because Galley is the best hero. So it's, yeah, I mean, it's, especially at very, very high MMR, Gallywix is the best hero power in the game, period. Now, Gallywix also has like, what, 37 health, 35 health or something really low, so it gets a little bit balanced there, but in the right lobby, Gallywix has pretty much always been the strongest hero since release, which
Wow,
is insane.
those are a lot of interesting comments in your chat. Like Hogger made so much money, he bought himself a place in the hero pool. I like that. And also,
shout out to Luke for that one.
yeah, make it like Brand. Buy X Pirates and get a Hogger 3 per game. I don't know about that either.
Whoa. Huh. No.
Yeah,
well, I mean, it depends on X, right? Like you can make X large enough that it's, you know, it's not good, but
how many would you like would even that have to be? 5, 6
like
pirates?
Also, I don't think they want to do that, right? Introduce
Yeah. As soon as you get the
game.
first Hogger, the rest are free, right? Like you're gonna get
they're
the
not
next two.
free, but they're free enough.
Like you're gonna get them like immediately, like
Yeah.
the next turn. Yeah, so
Yeah, that's
seems too strong.
like the one caveat is you can never go to 4 Hoggers that way because it caps out at 3, but still a golden Hogger. It depends
It's
a bit,
still
right?
really
If you
strong,
have a
yeah.
brand together with it. The thing is that man, they made that super strong Battlecry Pirate that gives health.
Yeah, the Battlecry Pirate is like
So
nutty.
being able to spend money like that is crazy.
Yeah.
All right, well, those
We're
are
gonna veto that
hypotheticals.
one basically.
Yeah, we're gonna at least for now. You'd have to work on X, and even then, it's weird because it's kind of like pilfered lamps where you make it impossible, but then when somebody still gets it, they still
They just win. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Duo would copy more Hoggers. You just make more Hoggers with Duo.
Oh right, you would just make more Hoggers. Yeah.
Right,
I don't understand why Duo's still in the game. I'm gonna be honest. I still think that card is
Duo
weird.
definitely pushes the power level of a lot of boards.
of a lot of comps. Yeah.
Yep. Alrighty, guys, we got our Hogger. Then Diablo comes back. We talked about that, and that is our mini patch here. It's
What about the nerfs?
Right. So let me grab the previous. So that's a patch that we have covered, but it's good to. Let me see, where is that? It's
like
good.
Talk about how it's kind of affected.
Yes, because I think we covered this as it hit.
That is
Which is cool.
basically.
So I'm going to skip over most of these and just go to the interesting ones, right? Or maybe some very, very brief comments on these guys. We don't have to go too in depth.
Sounds good.
Upbeat from Drake is now a 1/1.
I don't see people picking it. Oh, you do?
I still see some people taking it, but it's less. I think it was pretty damn good. Then Low Flyer is now +1 attack instead of +2.
Mm-hmm.
Still picked.
Yeah, still good.
Still good. So very, very justified nerf. All right. Reef, still picked. Still a good card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, still good.
It's got
The health didn't matter. Like, to be honest, like 1-3 to 1-2, like who cares?
Because you put the buff on her, and then it's 1 less health on something with damage. But yes, Molten Rock, not that relevant. You buy it sometimes. Frostling, not
feels
relevant.
bad, man.
You buy it sometimes.
Feels bad. Elemental is they're crying.
Scourfin is a 3/3. Still buy it. Still good.
Yeah.
So, again, very, very justified nerf.
6-3 was crazy. Now that we talk about, like, that card is so strong. Yeah.
Like, let me just trade even with just about anything. And
everything. And then you get plus
+5/5
on top of that. Like, what?
So you maybe lose the first run, and then from then on you destroy people. Radio Star 2/1, fair. I see it a lot less, which is funny. It's like 1 power difference, but it does feel like this card comes down too late a lot of the time.
Yeah, that's true.
It's hard to be healthy enough to like be okay with.
You kind of like need a triple into this, which is like this. Like, honestly, the 3-drop triples are not that bad because Scourfin is also solid too.
Yeah, so 3-on-3 by this works. That still works.
That's true.
It's just that 3-on-3 get it the turn after is already a little late, which is crazy, right? If you're going to go 3-on-3 and the second turn you combine minions, it's kind of too late. That's
because you're taking too much damage.
You're taking too much damage, yeah. Like, you don't
the first turn, it's great because like the card you get will save you, will like heal you. Then
the first
you can
round
keep
you lose
playing
anyway, right?
Yeah,
but it's the round after that you kind of want to start winning again. Now I will say, I went 3-on-3 as Reno and I got this thing and I insta hero powered it and that game was broken because you just steal 2 cards every turn starting from turn 3 or turn 4. So then you get a Baron and I was pulling 4 of the same every fight, so I was getting a triple.
No,
It's
don't
like,
do that. Dude, why is the game so nuts? Why is that possible?
So if you're Reno and you want to have a good time, consider 3-on-3 in an undead lobby because hitting this thing, it's an insta hero power. It's very fun. You just make a ton of cards. It's got that Nest Matron feel to it, right? Like Reno, Golden Nest Matron, money. And then, But getting a Baron obviously makes it way better because then not only are you getting 2 extra cards, you're getting a triple because it's.
I can also see Scourfin hero power. Right,
yep.
3-on-3 Scourfin, and then you hero power this. You hold the other one, you get plus 10/10. Like that sounds stupid.
Same thing. You can do Rylak as well with the right setup, right?
That sounds like more effort.
Yeah, of course, but more reward as well. Like Golden Rylak.
How good is Rylak anyways? Like,
not that good. It's not gonna win the Lobby Legends or anything. It's not gonna decide the Lobby Legends. Let's be real.
That's fair.
All right. Puffer Quill is now on 3, not relevant. Banana Slamma is on 4. Banana Slamma is less common, I will say, but I think that's go ahead.
We just watched Alyssa summon a 800 or 900 health Blanchy just before this podcast started. I just wanted to mention that. But okay, you go off, Shady.
No, I'm just saying that we see less of this. And it's, I think it's partially because of Duo no longer being the same, where it's a bit more difficult to like pop off like crazy. You used to have a lot of situations where you would use Brand and Duo to really farm a ton of Banana Slammas, and because it interacts with itself, you could just almost never have to, like 3 golden Banana Slammas is just right, like that's not overkill. So it's a lot harder to get 3 golden Banana Slammas right now due to the Brand Duo interaction change. So I think that's what's probably hurt it the most. Now Mama Bear got toned down a little bit, so obviously that 5 to 4 doesn't look like much, but if you run it through all the scaling, that actually ends up being quite a bit of stats.
Very relevant,
yeah. And then Rattler got changed. That's also a thing.
That's true.
So we'll look at that one here. It's now much more difficult in the late game to just buy a Rattler, play it, sell it. But if you get it early, it's disgusting because then you have the monkey on the board, you have the banana, and then you just play Rattler and then it just reborns your whole board like turn after turn after turn. So like a Rattler pair is so good because they reborn each other and then they can kind of stay because then they're relevant with Mama Bear or Crocodile or Banana or whatever you're doing. So yeah, it's really a very polarizing card now where hit it early, amazing. Hit it late, borderline uses. So
there's a dev comment that I feel like we should talk about, right? The change to rattling. The Rattler was not made for power level reasons, but to avoid an unintended interaction with Rylak and Monsters Macaw.
Yep.
So once again, Rylak, causing problems for everyone else. And I want to say, even though it wasn't made for power level reasons, it absolutely was a power level adjustment. So I don't know about that one. And makes me think about what's Rylak doing. Why is he here again?
Yeah, that reminds me of that meme where the guy has the gun and just fired it. Like, look at what reanimating Rattler did, and like the card that fired it is Rylak. Like, yeah, it's that's what it feels like. It's like, oh, it couldn't possibly be my fault. I'm Rylak. Either way, it's just different now. Right, really good early, borderline useless late. Then the Duo change,
and late is when you most of the time want to use it, I would say.
Yeah, it's the thing that takes your beast comp to the next level. If you can reborn every single minion on your board or close to, that's going to almost double your power level. So if you don't hit this card early, where you can milk and farm the reborn charges, then you can't really do it anymore. Whereas before, you could just roll hard for this card, buy it, sell it, buy it, sell it, buy it, sell it. That was really a beast thing. You were always rolling for more rattlers. You could never have too many rattlers. Just reborn your whole board.
I mean, I had like a golden rattler, and I was like, yeah, maybe I have enough. So, and the rattler itself was also like
because you got Mama Bear. Yeah.
At that point, I was like, maybe it's enough. All right, Peggy.
Oh, what the fuck is this guy doing? Sorry, someone in chat's. Yeah. All right. So we got Upbeat Duo. I want to talk about that one first before we jump to Peggy, because that is the probably the most influential change we've had in the whole patch. If I'm looking over everything.
You think so? Wow, Peggy's the most influential, really? I don't know. Defend
duo.
yourself.
Duo, Collins, duo.
Oh, duo. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I thought I heard Peggy.
Yeah, I got a feeling. I had a feeling you weren't listening. It's okay. So Upbeat Duo. So the big change here for anyone who missed that is it now procs end of turn, where you get a copy, right? So still the same mechanic, but it's not a battle cry. It copies the minion on the left instead of the battle cry target. So this has two consequences. Number one, the biggest one, is it's not abusable with Brand. What you would do with this card is you have a Brand, you target your Brand with the duo, 2 turns later you get a golden Brand and you win the game.
It's that simple.
It's without fail.
But it really was kind of that simple, yeah.
It's Brand the hero became insane because you just take Brand and then go to 4 and start rolling real hard for a duo. Because then you get a golden Brand, and it worked really well with Caligos. You get a golden Brand, you pop off. But golden Brand in almost any lobby just does. We know this, right? Golden Brand is a very good card. So that's a good change. You can no longer do that. The cool thing about it now is you can just put it down on the board and figure it out next turn whether you're going to copy this card or that card or roll a better card. Whereas before, if you got an early duo, it always felt a little bit annoying. You're like, I guess I'm targeting this card, get another 3-drop, I guess. Now you put it down and then you roll for a good card and then copy that card. So
yeah. Another thing, I guess, is that you can't stack the buffs or the targets anymore, which with the old one you could, right? Like even without Brand, you could target one, target another, and then triple and target it again.
Yeah,
without Brand. So
it would remember its previous things. Like not super relevant usually.
Really, that felt super relevant in my games, I would say. But
interesting. Okay, I usually felt like if I was at the stage where I'm goldening a duo, I was like, all right, I'm kind of destroying everyone here, right? If, with a Brand.
I didn't always have the Brand, I guess, is why maybe it felt relevant to me. Where maybe you were rolling harder for Brand.
I guess the another change to Duo now, which it's kind of cool if you haven't really done that or seen it yet, is you can now put your second duo next to or you can put your second duo left of your first duo, right? So your first duo is about to proc. You put your second duo to the left of it. It then procs, makes a golden duo, but it always remembers the most favorable charge. So if you play it next turn, your golden duo instantly procs. It's kind of like Elise, where Elise, if you golden it remembers the lowest amount of rolls. So if one of your Elise was on 1, your golden Elise will now only have 1 roll left. And it's the same with duo. If you golden your duo when one of your duos was about to go off, you'll get it the turn after.
Huh.
So I've been doing that a lot.
I haven't paid attention to that.
Yeah, you kind of just like golden duo drive by. You're like, oh, nice. I get a golden duo this turn. And then you copy 2 cards the turn after. So
it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a neat little thing on the side. But yeah, the main thing is no longer insane power level games with Brand. All right.
Do you think it's healthy now? Like the way we talk about it, you almost get the vibe that you think it's healthy.
No. But I mean,
okay.
Okay. So the games before this, we were looking at 500 dragons almost every game.
Right.
Right. Let's be honest. So without this and with, Dragosath on 5, right? That's also a big deal. You can no longer copy Dracosats on 4 because that was really ridiculous. It's so much harder to get dragons off the ground. I feel like this duo change hit both dragons and beasts really hard, where mostly dragons, because dragons really just played off that brand so beautifully and duo on the Callies and make like, 3 extra Caligos, 6 extra Caligos, whatever you're doing with that. You now no longer do that, and we already covered that you make less banana slammers and you need a lot of banana slammers for that comp. So I think those two comps got targeted the hardest with the duo nerf, and now we see that. So that makes sense. That's actually a really good balance change because those were pretty oppressive before the nerf. Now, I still don't think we should be able to just copy 5 drops and 6 drops that easily. Because it still means that if you have a good game and you had duo, you're having an amazing game. So there are still some outliers in terms of power.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we kind of mentioned that, like, we still think the card's problematic. It's not like, oh yeah, the changes, it hit a lot of the comms that really were abusable with upbeat duo are a little bit worse now because it's slower to pop off. But I think the card itself is just a problematic card. Like, being able to pick what card you want to double at will is just really, really allows people that are doing well to just be unassailable, essentially, right? Like, the people that win a lot of games, a lot of the time, got a dual proc, and then they just use that proc to kind of have a massive lead, and everyone else is like trying to recover. And it is true that if you don't have an early lead, you can't play this card. It's too slow. It costs too much. You'll take too much damage. But if you do get aggressive, like, this just gives you the I will always win because I'll have such a lead with an extra copy of a tool that I really want to abuse. So my thoughts is like, yeah, it's worse, but the card itself, design wise, just leads to like problematic situations where someone's like dominating and you can't really recover against them. Is my thoughts.
I think that's a very good analysis of the situation, Collins. And it begs the question as to why they were happy to remove Faceless Tavern Goer, Seafood Chef, Hamul. These are all cards that do the same thing. You have an early lead, you capitalize with buying these lower tempo or even almost no tempo cards, but that have this huge payoff if you can, weather the storm for a little bit.
Well, I'm just guessing here. I think it's just a case of like they like having one card that does something like this, one tool to abuse. But then they're also like not pro players, and then they just don't ever see like, oh wait, you add one and the players will just abuse this to the utmost extent, and then it's like it becomes problematic, then you have to remove it or change it, right? Like, that happens every time. Every time you add some mechanic like this. So I just feel like this is just another cycle of that, where they want to add a way of like capitalizing on some advantage, but then like players will just like abuse it to the utmost, and then it becomes very problematic. Then you have to like adjust it in some way. So
it's like, have fun with that card. No, not like that. Right.
Yeah. you guys are too good every time. Like, we make one of these. It's like,
okay, that's fair.
This didn't happen in playtesting.
We'll move on here. Okay, so we got Peggy here. Peggy was absolutely batshit crazy as a 6/5.
Defend yourself. Why is this the most broken or impactful nerf of the set? Defend yourself.
Doesn't matter. I still buy Peggy. Peggy still does the same thing. Now, the problem is that buying your first Peggy now comes at a cost, but I think that's perfectly fine. It was such a good card that if you just went to 4 and you rolled an early Peggy, you pretty much never skip that card. It just made no sense to skip a 6/5 Peggy because it's totally fine on its own for a turn, and then you find anything that's useful.
Any synergy, yeah.
God forbid a second Peggy, right? And you're just popping off like crazy. Especially now that there's a pirate. Now that there's a pirate cleave, it's so streamlined, right? It's like, get a Peggy, get a pirate cleave, buff. It's so good. So yeah, still buy Peggy, still buff pirate cleave, still very strong. Just now there's a little bit of a risk where you buy a 4/2 that might not do anything.
There's a lot of good pirates on 4, right? Like the Peggy, the other Peggy that buffs itself, and then the cleave.
Gambler was made of 5 in the round of nerfs.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
So we'll talk about it, which impacted pirates for sure. Pirates were indeed a tier 4 comp, Now, not so much. But you're still quite happy playing Peggy and the Cleave. If you hit those two.
Peggy and Cleave is fine, yeah.
It just makes so much sense. It's so easy. It's like, you know what? Every card I buy buffs my Cleave. That makes a lot of sense. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm looking at the next card and being sad. Like, I still never see
I definitely have some Barnstormer games.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, I have some early tier 4 games. Like those go to 4 on 7 golds, turn a 8 gold turn by a Barnstormer. That does pretty well. It's So it's especially good if you can abuse it with a hero power such as Lich King or Terran, so that you get double procs.
Well, see, that's different.
No,
right?
but I mean, if you get a Barnstormer on a neutral hero power in terms of the Barnstormer on 8 gold, that's good, right? It's because you do that, and that means that on 9 gold, you're already buying a 10 damage cleave, you're already buying a 7 damage shield. And then it procs again, and you can find another one of those, you can find a Baron to double milk, right? Like it's okay. I would say that it's playable at the very least. But as all of these scaling cards, you got to get it early enough, right? Because you can see like you get it 1 turn later or 2 turns later. Let's say you get it on.
You're not
buy
playing
it. You buy it on.
And you die.
Yeah, and it's over. So the elementals do have that issue where it's such a battle to get all the pieces fast enough, because when you do, god, it's so much fun. You have trumpets on the board, you have rock cycle pop cycle pop. You're just like APMing with elementals and your whole board gets buffed for doing it, but it's so likely you're gonna die. That's the issue. So yeah, but yeah, if you get this triple into it early, this is a card. 100%, right? Like, let's say it's
I can see that.
7 gold, buy your thing, level to 3, triple into this, take the Barnstormer, jam it, right? That's a 7 gold Barnstormer. That's 1 turn earlier than I said,
Yeah, because that sounds reasonable.
So yeah, very, very good minion to triple into. All right. This dragon buff card was changed because they needed space on 4 for Dracosath.
Right.
So it does not matter. So yeah, that's the synthesizer for anyone just listening and watching. Then Dracosath was moved to 5, which made a lot of sense because people were making a bunch of these token triples on tier 4 with Rylak. And, if they had tripled into a brand, you could just roll into Dracosath. So good change, but yeah, it did make it much more difficult to move into Caligos because, Dracosath was pretty much your gateway into tripling into 6 reps.
Fair enough.
Yep. Then here's your dealer. She's on 5 now.
Yeah. Look how they massacred my girl.
Pretty much. Well, now that's a really nice card to triple into when you're on 4.
Yeah, I agree.
Because then you're basically playing old pirates, right? You're like, ooh, I'm on tier 4 and I have the dealer and a Peggy. Let's go. You're a really big minion if you do that. So works pretty well with the good old make a big minion, add a lot of poison. So if you're playing in a Murloc lobby, base skill plus Belcher is a super nasty combo. The more I played, the more I like, oh, this was made for me. Because it takes scam to a whole new level. Because now the funny thing is when they announced Venomous, I was like, man, it's so much worse. But I really did not account for base skill, and the scam possibilities are through the roof here, guys. Like, you can do so many dirty things with base skill, because now you can make base skill poisonous with Belcher, and then it summons more poisonous after that. So it's like a coiler that's poisonous that summons 2 poisonous, which is ridiculous. Yeah. So I'm not sure if poison is actually weaker than before if you are able to construct some base skill nasty boards.
Yeah.
No comment.
Let's not talk. Okay. Yeah, no comments.
Don't elaborate, please, Shady. Don't elaborate. No details. Okay, yeah. Mama Bear 4/4. That's the banana nerf, right? Making sure those minions don't get too big. It was felt, but I'd say the duo nerf is still
more impactful,
more relevant. Then Smuggler. This feels like a low MMR change, where they made Smuggler from a 7/6 to a 5/4. So Smuggler is the pirate that gives you gold for every pirate on your board at the start of the turn.
Right, yeah.
I did not really feel like this was dominating at all.
Yeah, I never see this card personally. Unless, like, if they're playing pirates, they're doing the Peggy cleave thing. And sometimes they'll have this for a turn, but, like, it's really not... It doesn't really feel like it's what's carrying them.
You don't keep it on the board.
Other...
You don't keep it on the board. That's basically it.
The other 6-drop pirate, I think you see a lot more of.
Tethys, yeah. Well, Tethys is Hogger, right? Essentially. Like, the same Hogger. Trumpet is now 5 elementals instead of 6. Helps. Still super slow.
If you have 2, though, it's fine, I will say. Or if it's golden.
The problem is you have 2, but what's the state of your board at that moment?
How
much health do you have left?
The issue is, like, you need, like, Nomi 2 trumpets, and, like, that's 3 5 drops, right?
No. I had Rock 2 trumpets, and I couldn't scale in time. I died.
Well,
like,
Nomi
wasn't that late. No, Rock's way faster. Rock's way faster, right? It does everything. So I really looked at that game. I was like, damn, dude, elementals are so slow.
Is Rock faster? Like, you get like 100 attack and then you get 100 health. Like, you have to wait 2 turns. Where with Nomi you can get the stats immediately.
Wait, stats immediately? What are you talking about? You're
Rock buffs.
Yes. Okay, so with Nomi per elemental you've played, the shit in the shop gets +1/+1.
Yeah, but you cycle those out, so you'll have like 3 or 4 big ones.
Big as in +4/+4, right?
No, +40.
The first turn? What are we talking about here? What are your Nomi 2 games look like, sir? Yeah. Okay. I need to play Nomi like that because, the way I do it, it's not, I don't get 40/40 on turn 1.
You do something wrong, yeah.
All right. So I think well, I'm not even sure if the top end looks better with Nomi because you get more rocks. You start dishing out a ton of elementals. I guess it depends on what you're buffing. Right. With Nomi, it's easier to make.
Like, if you have the cleaves already, I guess it's fine.
Yeah. But it's hard, right? If you run 2 trumpets and rock and a flex slot, it's hard. You can maybe keep 2 or 3 minions max that you're buffing.
Yeah.
And usually you have a duo on your board, to like make more trumpets and stuff. Anyways, it's I think overall it's somewhat established.
It's slow. Like you're saying it's slow. That's fine. I'll agree with that.
All right. And then we're at almost our final changes. We're at the 6 drops. We have Callie. Callie's effect was not changed. It was just changed from a 4/12 to a 2/10. I don't feel like that has impacted it too much. I think this is more just it's harder to play Callie now because Duo doesn't interact with Bran and Drakaseth as on 5.
Yeah. It's more of Duo really hitting it than
Drakaseth's a big one as well, right? Like, let's say Duo wasn't you could absolutely just run Rylak and Drakaseth on 4 and it was so good.
Yeah.
Okay, then Dina was quite an elegant change, going from full Divine Shield to 3 Divine Shield dragons.
I like this nerf. Like, it's one of the few times where I'm like, oh, a nerf of a beloved card? Yeah, sign me up for this one, yeah.
Yep. It also makes a lot of sense now that the golden one is actually valuable. You now shield your whole board if you have golden Adina.
I always like, how do I make the golden one relevant, right? I was like, what if you make it shield everything? Not just dragons. And
God. Yeah, so Collins would have been the one responsible for the 6 poisonous minions plus Nadina.
Plus golden Nadina, let's go. Yeah.
Just make a golden Nadina and have 6
I mean, that would have lasted for one patch, let's be honest. And then
people would not have liked that. Okay. And then we have the last 2. So Rock went from a +1 to +2, but no longer buffs itself.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that actually... Yeah, it buffed itself, right? Yeah, it buffed itself.
Yeah, it used to buff itself, for sure.
So now that is not that big of a deal because endgame you kind of need to kick something anyway for Leroy or Queen. And if you have 2 rocks, they can buff each other. So that's still kind of good.
Right.
I've done that.
Just get 2 rocks.
Yeah, I've played with 2 rocks. It was a good time.
Smiley face. Yeah,
right.
I hear you.
Zap's now 16 health, right? And 816, and that's because they wanted to survive an Uther hit. So I think this is an answer to what can we do about a Baron that is Uthered?
Yeah.
Just hit it with 8. It survives on 1. Hit it again. So smart change.
Only downside is like it's not targeting that Uthered Baron.
It's well, sometimes it does, right? But yeah, it's most of the time it's going to either be stealth and have more health anyway, right? Or you're gonna have the Raptor or the base kill or whatever. That's the Baron is interacting with. All right. Well, I said we weren't going to cover every card, and we covered every card. So.
It's so toxic though. Like if you get this early, it's like, okay, here's an 816, my friend. Take full damage every time now. It's just like, why?
I've had the pleasure to fight an early zip, and that was not fun because you take 6 plus Tavern Tier plus whatever.
I know it's so hard
basically
to deal
cap.
with now.
And people do that on 9 gold sometimes, right? Like sell tier, take your triple. It's pretty expensive.
That's me. I just don't go for the zap because I can't break myself unless it's like horrible.
Down, baby. Let's go.
Rock maybe is not the line either, but yeah.
All right. Well, I think we covered this patch twice now, but it's been fun.
Macaw has been returned, and Sidori Straight Shot is now available in all lobbies.
Sure. I guess. Fair point. So Straight Shot being in all lobbies, great. Good queen counter, great horse counter. So if beasts were in but undead weren't, you would have Blanche in the game but no Sindori. And that was toxic because then the way how people get this huge horse with banana is by just taunting it and then it dies and you summon a very, very big one. It's great that Sindora is in every game now because now they can't just taunt the horse. And if they do, well, they run the risk of losing their entire combo through the Sindori. So I have many games where I look at my last opponents and I'm like, oh, the Sindora is just not leaving the board. Cool. It's like, you're weak to Sindora, you're weak to Sindora, okay, great. I'll just keep it. So anytime I see beasts, I'm happy to have a Sindora on my board almost.
And I will say though, the Macaw being back is really impactful as well, right? Like you now can buff Sourfin. I believe it works well with Rylak as well. So there's some interactions with Macaw being back that have fundamentally changed how you build some comps.
Yeah, Rylak's better.
Yeah. Great news, everyone.
Yeah, that's on tier 3. You can roll into Macaw, then into Rylak.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I think that's it for us for today. I don't think we have any other topics for.
So this is usually where I put in the, hey guys, thanks for watching. You can send us feedback, HSBG Podcast, but you don't have any of that, so you don't have to do that.
All right. Well,
it's on YouTube and Twitter and all that stuff.
We'll pretend you did it. Okay. Right. Oh, by the way, guys, again, right? Shout outs. Collins has a new Hearthstone channel. So you want to give that a little shout out, Collins?
Yeah, I've got a Hearthstone channel, Educated Collins HS, I believe, if I remember correctly. I'm not going like super hard or having like double daily videos like Shady. I'm just being a lot more casual with it, but got some videos coming up. My most recent video, I didn't record my audio. Let me tell you. So what I did is I went back and I just did post commentary for the full thing. Yeah, that was my solution. So yeah, that'll be coming out soon. A lot more effort on my point, but yeah, definitely tune in. Take a look, see if you like it. That's all I got.
Nice. That's a great way to experiment with content. Right? Be like, oh well, I guess I'm doing this.
I guess I'm forced to. I'm not uploading something with no audio. There's game sounds, but like that's not enough. So.
Right. Okay, that's good. Well, guys, thank you so very much for tuning in. We've been recording a little less lately, as you may have noticed, but it's been fun to have a lot of stuff to talk about every time. So yeah, I do see us going back at some point, right? But for now, pretty happy with the once every 2 weeks. So look forward to the next one in 2 weeks.
Take care. Bye.
Have a good one, everyone.